So we have to keep in mind these few truths as we commence our Bible study. Again, we have to keep in mind the fact that translation was involved with the English Bible. And when there are italicized words, because they are not in the original Greek, or let's say the original Hebrew, you will not have the Strong's numbers. Because after all, Strong's numbers, remember, we learned yesterday, are simply substitutes for the original Hebrew or the Greek words. And so if there is no original Hebrew word, how could they assign a Strong's number, you see? And that's one case where you will look at the Strong's Concordance and you'll find that the Strong's number is missing. It simply means you're looking at a word that's not in the original Hebrew or Greek. There is a second possibility. You may be looking at one word in the English that's a part of a phrase which in total reflects a translation of one Hebrew or Greek word. In other words, today, earlier on this morning, for our Sunday morning message, we looked at 2 Timothy 2. A workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Now, did you know that the entire phrase, needeth not to be ashamed, is a translation of one Greek word? Needeth not to be ashamed. In that case, you may look at needeth not to be ashamed, any one of those words, and the Strong's number, if I remember correctly, you can check this yourself, of course, but the Strong's number will not appear for every one of the words in that phrase, you see. Okay? So you have to make sure that first of all, you look at your Bible, and if it's not italicized, the likelihood is that you're looking at a phrase. That's the translation. The phrase is the translation of one original Hebrew or Greek word. In that case, the Strong's entry will reflect this by leaving out the number for most of the words in the phrase. Okay? Please, it's very important that you familiarize yourself with the Strong's Concordance or any of these tools that we have mentioned thus far, because there are times when you'll encounter these problems or idiosyncrasies that are inherent to these tools. Now, the other issue is the issue of the variant. And when you look at the Hebrew or the Greek dictionary, sometimes you'll see in the renderings the word variant, and you'll find this in the online Bible also. Variant simply means that a variant spelling of the same Hebrew or the Greek word exists. Okay? But the linguists have assigned the first word and the variant word the same Strong's number. All right? The same Strong's number reflects maybe a couple of Hebrew words or maybe a couple of Greek words. Very close, just a very minor variation in spelling. They've assigned them the same Hebrew or the Greek Strong's numbers, okay? That's what a variant would be. Sometimes, and this, what I'm going over, is not an exhaustive list. However, you can find all this information in the concordance itself. Sometimes you'll find a plus sign. A plus sign. I think Brother David asked about that yesterday. Plus a number. Okay? You're looking at renderings of a particular word. Renderings, remember, coming after the colon and the hyphen in the dictionary part of the Strong's Concordance. And sometimes there's a plus sign with another number. And you wonder, what does that mean? What does that mean? Or a plus sign and a word, I believe, that sometimes also occurs. The plus sign simply indicates this, that in conjunction with another Hebrew or Greek word in the sentence, in the verse, that becomes the rendering. Okay? In the event, in the occurrence of another Hebrew or Greek word in the sentence, the rendering of that word is as such. That's what the plus sign indicates. That's what the plus sign indicates. Okay? It's not just that one word that you're looking at. That particular rendering with the plus sign in front of it is a reflection of the word you're currently studying plus, that's the plus sign, another word. Okay? And so these are some of the fine details we really ought to keep in mind as we study the Bible, or use these tools, we should say, at the very least. There is another aspect to this that we really ought to have mentioned yesterday, and that concerns the online Bible, the online Bible search function. Now, when you click on the flashlight search function, remember you can type in your chosen words, whatever they may be. Okay? And let's say you're doing a search on a Greek word, again, 4160. 4160. And if you have your online Bibles, this would be the time to try this. And you would type in 4160 after clicking on the flashlight icon. Okay? Once that's typed in, remember, if you go down a few selections, there is an option that's called Search Multiple Databases.